I think 3 people is enough to start.
Yeah.
Yes, 3 people is enough to start.
One's good enough.
Yeah, 1's good enough. Even 0 is enough. So, I've heard of scholars that even if no one came and they had a time to speak, they would start. And that would be their proof that they did it for the sake of Allah and not for not even for the students, not even for the listeners. إن الحمد لله نحمده نستعينه ونستغفره ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Today's class will be interesting on the topic of Aqeedah. I realized about 2 days ago that I never defined the subject of Aqeedah. What is its purpose and what are its merits and benefits? I think I did talk about it a little bit, but I wanted to highlight one particular point. And that is the subject of Aqeedah, the maqsad, the ghaya, and the mawdu' and the thamarat of the subject is supposed to be azalatu shak, removing of any doubt regarding the removing any of the doubts regarding our creed, our Aqeedah. What do we believe in exactly? Oh, subhanAllah.
This is milkshake for you from upstairs, but it comes with a condition.
What?
You have to post a study guide for the Khadija Institute.
Right, I know.
I'm just relaying the message.
Tell Sheikh Tamer that I'll have it done tonight. Okay. So they've been asking me for, I think, a few days now. Okay, so its purpose is to remove any doubts. The way the subject of Aqeedah developed is that people raised doubts against the normative tradition of the earlier generations. We're going to see some of the key issues today if we get there. And then I'll talk further at that point. But the main purpose of the subject of Aqeedah is to remove any doubts about any aspects of the belief, whether they are major or minor. Okay? We were talking about this subject last week, so I'm going to pick up from here. They say, Mu'tazilite was the second major group in the history of Islam that started questioning traditional Islam. The first major group, which we're going to study later about today if we get to it, was called the Kharajites, the Kharajiyas. And they are particularly the ones that killed Ali radiallahu anh and also killed Uthman radiallahu anh, the Kharajiyya type of attitude. The second major group after that was the rationalists. And the rationalists, they posed, as you will see, some rational questions to Islam. And so the tradition responded in different ways. Some people in tradition thought, oh, just ignore them, stick to your path, don't worry about them. But then when people and scholars saw this is beginning to affect the common people, they're bringing about their arguments to the ulama. So then there had to be a strong response. And so Ilm al-Kalam or Aqeedah is an important subject, and it is still a developing subject in the sense that there are new doubts, new issues, new questions. So all those new questions, the new doubts that were not raised in the past but are raised now, is also part of Aqeedah, because it is the job of scholars to remove the doubts from the minds of the people. Because the others, they are artists or magicians or logicians of words, and they put doubts in the hearts of the people. So anyway, this subject we already studied, but I'm going to go over it quickly because I didn't finish the subject properly, and then I have some more important issues. So you see how far we get today. قالوا, they say, who say? The Mu'tazilites say, لو كانتا, if Jannah and Jahannam already exist, if the heaven and hell already exist, لو كانتا, if those two already exist, موجودتان, if they are mawjud, if they are there, الآن, right now, لما جاز حلك كل جنة لقوله تعالى, then everything in Jannah will perish because, meaning it contradicts these two statements. On the one side, Allah says, ukuluha da'imun, the things in the paradise are, you're eating from it forever. Walakin lazim batil, this must necessarily be false because, meaning this statement is true and your belief is false because لقوله تعالى كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه, everything will perish except his face. So how is it that you'll eat from Jannah forever, and yet Jannah, Allah says everything will perish? We talked about this last week, but I want to now give the arguments and particularly show you one particular verse also in addition to this that is on this subject, and then talk about some other of the issues regarding this. قلنا, we say, لا خفاء فيه, there's nothing hidden about this, meaning this is what you're saying, your argument. You know how you say if you take a balloon and pop it, he's saying لا أخفى, there's nothing hidden here. What you're saying is it's known. You're the one who has the problem of not understanding what is being said. قلنا لا خفاء فيه إنه لا يمكن دوام الأكل الجنة بعينه. It is not possible that you're eating in Jannah in itself all the time. That's not a reality. Innama means what? Indeed. Al-murad, murad means what? Arada yuridu, murad. Murid, same word.
Follow.
No, the one who wants. Talib, the one who desires. Same word. Meaning two different words, similar meaning. There's the murid and there's the talib. Innama murad bid-dawam. The murad is, the intent is that it will be continuous, but that being continuous doesn't mean that there are not breaks in the middle. Okay? إنه إذا فني منه شيء جيء ببدله. إنه, it is, إذا, when, funiya, finished, minhu, from it, shay'un, anything, G, it comes, B, badlahu, with something else. Meaning, even if you take the fruit of Jannah and eat it, it comes with another fruit. In the same way as that fruit gets replaced, Jannah can also what? The whole Jannah can also be what? Replaced without it in the absolute sense being destroyed, but just temporarily being removed. Okay? So this is the first point. And second point is the definition of the word halak has many meanings. Halak does not mean completely, absolutely destroyed, by the way. And I'm going to show you a verse of the Quran regarding this. If you say halakat ta'am, the food got destroyed, what you mean is the food is still there, but it's not eatable anymore. It is of no benefit, meaning nothing will function as it was originally meant to function. Everything will come to its functional end. Everything will come to its what? Functional end. It will come to it. But it doesn't mean that Jannah will itself like be erased per se. And scholars have different statements about this. Everything that exists is mumkin, is a possibility. So what exists now, like Jannah and me and you and everything, what exists now is in the realm of the possibility to be manifested one way or the other. And then there are things that are possible but are never manifested. Right? Allah knows all the possibilities. Some of those possibilities He allows to be, and other possibilities He doesn't allow them even to be. And then of those that He allows to be, just as Allah was before anything, He will be after everything. And this is the name of Allah, Huwal Awwalu wal Akhir. He is the first of what? It doesn't mean He's first as in like He is first and then there's second, third. No. He's first before all of creation. And He's last of what? All of creation. Huwal Awwalu wal Akhir. And on this, I don't know how well I can explain this, but I'm going to show you something from the Quran here. Now look at this. Translate this. Sabbaha lillahi ma fi samawati wal ard. What does it mean? Everything in the heaven and the earth is doing tasbih of Allah, is glorifying. وهو العزيز الحكيم. له ملك السماوات والأرض. And for Him belongs the kingdom and the ownership of everything in the heavens and the earth. Yuhyi wa yumit. He gives life and He gives death. وهو على كل شيء قدير. And He has power over all things. And by the way, some of the silsilas, like for example the Shadili silsila, they focus a lot on this ayah number 3 of Al-Hadith. They focus a lot on it. And it is the only time in Quran where there is an and between the names of Allah. Otherwise, like it's Azizul Hakim, Ghafur Rahim, Al-Hayyul Qayyum. There's no and between the names of Allah. But the only place where there is an and between the names of Allah is ayah number 3 of Surah Hadith. Huwa al-awwalu wal-akhiru wal-zahiru wal-batin. وَهُوَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. He is the first, He is the last. He is the zahir, most manifested. And He is also the most hidden. One way to understand this, one way. He's the first before creation. He's the last after creation. Before creation, He's the only one glorified. He's the only one, it's only His tajalliyat. It's only His manifestation that becomes zahir. And after He creates, He hides Himself. And He becomes batin. So this is one explanation, okay? هُوَ الْأَوَّلُ وَالْآخِرُ وَالظَّاهِرُ وَالْبَاطِنُ. In comparison to this, By the way, this is the same grouping of surahs, the Musabbihat. Here, Surah Al-Hadid, which is known as the al-Musabbihat, the mother of all the Musabbihat. And then the longest list of Allah's name is in the two surahs over Surah Al-Hashr, where it's 18 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again here, Sabbaha lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fi al-ard wa huwa al-azizul hakim. By the way, this grouping of surahs, I just want to introduce to you. Let me start with the Musabbihat Surah Al-Hadid. How does it start? Sabbaha lillahi, surah number 57. Sabbaha lillahi ma fi samawati wal ard wa huwa al-azizul hakim. This group of surahs is very, 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 very special. Then Surah Al-Mujadila, قَدْ سَمِيَ اللَّهُ قَوْلَ الَّتِي تُجَادِلُكَ. Okay. Then, now notice, very quickly. Oh wait, I think you can do it this way too. Oh, okay, no. Surah Al-Mujadila, then Surah Al-Hashr, which is the surah we're going to look at. Also, Sabbaha lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fi al-ard. Then, Mumtina. Then, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, again here. And notice, in terms of the grouping of surahs, just keep this in mind, as I will try to make this clear. Surah Al-Hashr, Mumtina, then Surah Al-Saf. Sabbaha lillahi ma fi sama. Surah Al-Jumu'ah is also what? Yusabbihu lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fi al-ard. So these are musabbihat. This grouping is mostly musabbihat. Okay. Now let's go back to the surah I was going to discuss, Surah Al-Hashr, very quickly. I just want to show it to you. So we can go back to our subject. Here is the longest list of Allah's names in the whole of Quran. Okay. Starting from ayah number 22 to ayah number 24. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. Starting with sabbaha, then ending with two sabbaha. Sabbaha subhanallahi amma yushrikun, and then yusabbihu lahu ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard wa huwa al-aziz al-hakim. So this group is called musabbihat. I don't have time to go into the importance of this grouping of surahs, 10 surahs, from Surah Al-Hadid to Surah Al-Talaq. And the addressees of this surahs, these 10 surahs, is only Muslims. Only Muslims. I don't have time to go into this right now. Okay. So, what was I trying to show you? I was only trying to show you that whenever the names of Allah are mentioned without what? And. Over here is the only time where there is what? An and between the names of Allah. Why? Because when he's the first before creation, then there is an and after he's the last after creation. Meaning he is huwal awwal wal akhir all the time, because something is always passing away all the time, and he was there before and he was there after. But when the whole of creation ends, all of existence as we know it ends, huwa al-awwal wal-akhir wal-zahir wal-batin wa huwa bi kulli shay'in alim. Now, regarding this subject, on the one side we have the ayah of Surah Rahman, which we just looked at, but I want you to compare these two verses of the Quran. Okay. Kullu man alayha fan. Everything on it will what? Fan. Fan. What is the word fan? Fan means what? Fani, to finish. Completely. The earth, everything on it, meaning the earth, will completely what? Finish. Okay, so the word here is fana, not halaka. Halaka means something doesn't necessarily completely finish, but it stops functioning as in its original state. Okay, so fana is when something completely what? It's actually erased. Okay, so kullu man alayha fan. And then another verse on this subject, the one that we're studying, Quran, all things. Okay. Over here, وَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ. And don't call upon anyone other than Allah as your ilah, as your God. La ilaha illahu, there's no divine other than Him. كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. Everything will come to an end except His face. لَهُ الْحُكْمُ وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. For Him is the command and all things go back to Him. Compare this now ayah with this ayah. Actually, that's pretty much. Compare it with this verse, I think it is. Now you will see how interesting this will become. I think it is here. Okay, now look at ayah number 68. وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ. What does it mean? When the trumpet is blown. وَالصَّعَقَ means what? صَعِقَ. To become unconscious or to die. Okay? وَالصَّعِقَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Man here means what? Instead of ma.
Whoever.
What's the main point? Why does it not say وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ and then after that فَصَعِقَ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ? Why man, sorry.
Referring to people?
Man is for living things. Man is for what? Living things. نُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَصَعِقَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Over there it says everything will perish except for what? Allah's face. Here it says Allah will destroy every living thing except whom He wills. So everything will become non-functional, and amongst living things there will be maybe a degree above that. Okay, so this is one aspect. Let's go back to okay. قالوا لو كانتا موجودان الآن لما جاز حالك كل أكل الجنة لقوله تعالى أكله الدوام أكلها دائم لكن لازم باطل لقوله تعالى كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكذا الملزوم. وقلنا, and we say لا خفاء فيه, nothing hidden here. إنه لا يمكن, then he gives the reason number one. لا يمكن دوام أكل الجنة بعينه. It's not possible that you will not eat the fruits, and you will eat the fruits but not eat the fruits. Either you're eating or not eating. If you're eating, then it's finishing, so it means that it's replacing. إنما مراد به الدوام. إنه إذا فني منه شيء جيء ببدله. We read till here. وهذا ينافي الحلاك لحظة. So he says, Imam Nasafi says, everything will perish for a moment, like compared to infinity, when Allah finishes everything and remakes everything, and everything does finish, and then Allah remakes it, it will be like what? A moment. How do we know that? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, everything from now till the day of judgment is nothing but like a twinkling of an eye. This is in the Quran. Let me show you if I can find it. Okay, so this is the ayah. لله غيب السماوات والأرض. What does it mean? Lahu walillahi, and for Allah is ghaib means what? Unseen. The unseen things of as-samawati wal-ard. Ma amru as-sa'a, the affair of the hour is nothing but illa kalamhil basar, just as the twinkling of the eye. Meaning there's from that time to this time is just like for Allah, it's like there's no time. Kalamhil basar. Aw huwa akrab, or even closer than that. Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. Allah has power over all things. There's so much to say on this subject, but it goes outside Aqeedah a little bit. There is a very famous poem. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but I'll say it, and if it sounds boring, too bad. There's a poem that helps us imagine the time where there was nothing except Allah before creation. Okay. And that honoring Allah at that moment, the purpose of the poem is to honor Allah at that moment when there was nothing but Him only. And no one knew Allah except Allah. Meaning at that moment, no one knew Allah except Allah knew Himself. And Allah knew what He would do. And Allah knew the whole affair at that moment. But remember, when Allah finishes everything in the heavens and the earth, what does He say? Manil mulku al-yawm lillahi al-wahid. For who is the kingship? Who is there now? Who thinks there's something or anything? No one but me. Right? Which is going to lead to an interesting discussion at some point, I think, when we talk about Jannah and Jahannam, and if it's forever or not forever, or if we're going to be in Jannah forever and not ever. We'll get to that, inshallah. But this kind of like, وَلِلَّهِ غَيْبُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, and for Allah is the unseen things of the heaven and the earth. وَمَا أَمْرُ السَّاعَةِ إِلَّا كَلَمْحِ الْبَصَرِ, and the affair of the hour is for Allah nothing but like twinkling of an eye. You're already there. It's like it's already happening. Right? And then about I don't know if I should do that or if it'll go outside the realm of what I want to do. But let me see if I can. You know that.
Think your taxes are simple? You can.
Okay. I think it's this one in which he takes the poem of Fateh Nusrat Ali Khan, who's a famous, and this is what he said. I'm going to try to translate it, even though it's not in English. It's in Urdu, but you'll see. But this is to give you the idea. Ignore this funny music. So, not looking at the issue of music for a while, but just the purpose is education, okay? So he's going to talk about that moment when there was nothing but Allah. So I'm going to try to explain it in his words so that you can benefit. I'm not translating this part. I'm explaining this would take too long. Yes, you can hear it. He says everything reaches its limits with your name. Okay. तेरी हमदो सना अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हाँ कि तू मेरे मोहम्मद का खुदा है अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाहु. He doesn't do a good job, but not as good as the original works. ये ज़मीन जब ना थी. You understand that? What?
When there's earth.
When the earth, there was no earth. When जब ये ज़मीन ना थी, कुछ नहीं था. This universe was not there. This earth was not there. Nothing was there. Chan Suraj na the. What does it mean?
The moon and the sun.
There was no moon and sun. Sorry. Chan Surat na tha, Asman na tha. You get it? There was no sky, no clouds, no earth, no stars, nothing. Raze haq kisi par aya bhi na tha. What's raze haq? Raz means what? Secret. The true secret was not even known to anybody. Because Allah said, the Prophet said that Allah said, I was a treasure. Kuntu kanzun. Allah says, I was a treasure. I wanted to be known. So I created. I wanted to be known. Humans. So he says, Raze haq jab aya bhi na tha. Jab when the secret of reality, no one even knew it at that time. It was just Allah. Tab at that time, kuch na tha yahan. There was nothing here. Yes, there was nothing here, but there was only you and only you. Only you and only you. Only you are there. Yeah, this is gonna be harder to explain. I don't know if I should do that because it goes a little bit out of topic. Kaunain means what?
The nation.
The two worlds.
Two worlds.
This world and the next world. Kaunain, Kama'bud, you're the one who are the Lord of the two worlds. You're the one who created them. Har shah hai shahid teri. Like Islam.
It's warm in here, mashallah.
Yeah.
Mashallah. Very warm.
Yeah.
That's what happens when no one pays utility bills.
So har shah hai shahid. Everything is your witness, and everything actually, knowingly or unknowingly, desires to go to you, because everything came from Allah and will. So Allah is like the natural magnet. I don't know if that's a good way to put it. But... in every sound, in every sorrow, in every sorrow, in every sound, in everything is it has you in it. Okay, anyone that does anything, in fact, is a manifestation of it, the thing, meaning me or anything, wanting to relate back to Allah. Okay, so I think we'll stop it here. The main point being what? That moment where nothing existed except Allah. And we'll go back to that same moment of glory. When that moment only in Allah existed and everything else finished. But before, things that were possibilities had not manifested themselves. And this time, when everything perishes, things will functionally come to an end. Like Jannah won't be perished, but Jannah will functionally come to an end, like you pause it for a moment. It doesn't exist. So Jannah, Jahannam will functionally come to an end, and nothing will exist again except Allah. And only and only and only and only and Allah will be as He was. Huwal awwalu, before creation. He's first before creation. Huwal akhiru, and He's the last after He finishes the creation. Everything is completely erased, in a sense, meaning that they're taken back to their mumkanat position, that they're a possibility. So even though Jannah exists, Jahannam exists now, but then on that time, everything will perish except what? The face of Allah. And according to one ayah, illa ma yasha.
Whatever Allah wish.
Right? Was sa'iqa man fis samawati wal ard illa ma yasha. So whoever of Allah's living creatures, He doesn't completely annihilate or put it back into the world of possibilities. And when he brings you out of the world of possibilities, he'll bring you back into the original point, not as a baby, but to the original point where you were at some point. Okay? So, he says, هذا لا ينافي. This does not go against. الحلا no, هذا لا ينافي حلاك لحظة. This is not except being destroyed as if it is for a moment. كلمح البصر, as Allah says, right? على حلاك لا يستلزم الفناء. It does not mean fana in the complete sense, like being completely erased. No. بل يكفي خروج عن انتفاء به. Okay. Now, over here, let me just connect this point with this. Second point, or this is the third point. يجوز أن يكون المراد أن كل ممكن هو حالك في حد ذاته. Everything is in fact perished in comparison to Allah. Meaning, I'm alive, Allah is alive, but my life is, I need food, I need drink, I need sleep. It's like there's no life compared to his life. Al-Hayyul Qayyum. Right? So in comparison to Allah, everything is already perished and then will be even more perished into the world of possibilities. So this is what it means. It doesn't mean that their Jannah is not present or Jahannam is not present because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it go away back into the world of possibilities, but possibilities that will manifest themselves. Innama amruhu, his affair is, إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا, when he desires something, he says to it, what? Be, and it is. But what does Allah say? Innama amruhu إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا فَيَقُولُ لَا. Huh? He says to what? La? No. Innama, what? Only. Amruhu إِذَا, Amr, his affair. Allah's affair is, إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا, when he what? Has an irada. He says to, فَيَقُولُ لَا. فَيَقُولُ لَا. Who? He says to it. It already exists. Where? Where does it exist? In the world of possibilities before it is made manifested into the world actually. فَيَقُولُ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونُ. So this is now coming from the world of possibilities that are meant to manifest themselves into the world of. And then when Allah removes everything from creation, one of the explanations is everything will go back into that state where it will manifest itself. It is real. It will manifest itself, but it has come to a pause just for a moment. It is as if just for a moment. Okay? Okay. أن الوجود الإمكاني بالنظر إلى وجود الواجب بمنزلة العدم. What does it mean? Try to use your brains. It's a very simple sentence. أن الوجود الممكنات means what? Mumkin means possibilities. Wujud, that is a possibility. إلى وجود الواجب. Which is the wujud that's wajib? Necessary existence is who? Allah is the necessary existence. You are a possibility of an existence, right? So in front of wujudul wajibi, wujudul imkani is as if what? Bi manzilatil adam. It is in the station of being in adamul wujud, of non-existence. In front of Allah, you're what? As if non-existence. Then Imam Nasafi writes about the people of Jannah. باقيتان لا يفنيان لا يفنى أهلهما. What does it mean? باقيتان, referring to what? You know, Allah created everything in pairs. And this is one of the beauties of the Arabic language, that Allah allows a special category of duality because it's in nature itself. So two things exist, heaven and hell. Baqiyatani la yafniyani. They will not what? Perish. Except according to some of the other scholars, which I will talk about later. La yufna ahluhuma. What does it mean? La fana means what? Annihilated. Ahluhuma, it's people. It's people of Jannah, and the people of hell do not get what? Annihilated, even though it's like, you know, in science fiction makes it a lot easier to understand this. If I have a time freeze button, you've seen those science movies where they can freeze time, you know, time freeze button. So now it's like you're not there. So Allah puts things on zero, hold, and now the only existence is Allah. And everything has lost its existence in the true sense of the word. Ay, meaning, daimatani la yutra alayhima adam mustamirrun. What does that mean? They're very good. There is no adamul wujud, there's no non-existence, mustamarran, forever. You will come back into existence. Just because Allah makes everything removed temporarily, versus, but that's still part of the plan of being continuous, for being forever. Okay? لقوله تعالى في حق الفريقين خالدين فيها أبدا. They will remain in it for what? Ever. But this takes us to a very good and interesting and very interesting debate. Let me show you what I mean. Okay. Ayah number 6. What does it say about the people of the hellfire? إن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين في نار جهنم. What? خالدين فيها هم شر البرية. Indeed, those people who've rejected the truth amongst the people of the book and the mushrikeen, they will remain in the hellfire. Hum sharrul bariyah. They're the worst of Allah's creation. Then what does Allah say about Jannah? إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أولئك هم خير البرية. Indeed, those who believe and do good deeds, they are the best of Allah's creation. جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن تجري من تحتها الأنهار. Their reward with their Rabb is Jannat, gardens, Adnin, for of eternity. تجري من تحتها الأنهار. Rivers will flow under it. خالدين فيها أبدا. Abada means what? Forever. Doesn't come for Jahannam. Only comes for Jannah in this ayah. And a few other places in Quran, when the contrast is made, Allah doesn't say forever for Jahannam. Allah only says forever for Jannah. So, in contradiction to the Aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, our Aqeedah is Jannah is forever, and what? Jahannam is also forever. However, some scholars within Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah have had the opinion that no, there is valid proof within Quran and hadith for that matter, that heaven will remain forever, but Jahannam will come to an end. And there's a hadith on this. The Prophet says this, that Allah will put his feet into the hellfire, and the hellfire will come like after gazillions of infinite years. Allah will put his feet into the hellfire. Now, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah as a whole believes Jannah is forever and Jahannam is forever. And we're going to give the proofs for that in just a little bit, but I'm giving the opposite proof right now. The two of the very big scholars that are on the opposite end of poles also agree with the opinion that hellfire will come to an end. Who are they? Two great scholars on the opposite end of the pole, meaning the entire spectrum of Islamic scholarship. On the one side is Imam Ibn Taymiyyah. He says hellfire will come to an end. And the other side of the spectrum is Sheikh al-Akbar, Muhyiddin Arabi. He also says hellfire will come to an end. These two great giants, they say hellfire will come to an end. But the majority of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah says what? Hell is forever and heaven is forever. And we're going to ask ourselves the question later on when the subject comes, is it ma'qul, is it intellectually acceptable that hell is forever and heaven is forever ever? And is the punishment intellectually acceptable? So we're going to discuss that because Imam Nasafi discusses this in some detail. About the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that the hellfire will come to an end. Let me just share that with you very quickly. The Prophet said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Yulqa fin nar. What does it mean? Yulqa fin nar, thrown in the hellfire, everything. Taqulu, and the hellfire will say, Hal mim mazid. Is there more? Hatta, until what? Yada'a means what? To put. Qadamahu, what is qadam? Foot. His foot. And according to this hadith, Allah has how many? One or two? One. His one foot. Okay. He puts his one foot in the Salafis use this hadith to say, no, it's disrespectful to say Allah has one foot. You have to say Allah has 2 feet. Okay? Because they think that it's actually like some sort of foot. So they say, no, don't be disrespectful. Say Allah has 2 feet. They don't understand what metaphors are. Yada'a qadamuhu, Allah will put his foot, fataqulu qat'in. He'll say, enough. And some scholars use this hadith to say hellfire will eventually come to an end. Okay? Anyway, so this particularly to me is useful. Why? Because when I'm talking to non-Muslims and when the subject of hellfire comes up, I'm allowed to say that there are Muslim scholars who believe the hellfire is not forever, which is a true statement. And that our text also indicates this, even though this is not the belief of what? Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. But I'm trying to raise your brains to the level of Imam Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Arabi. So it's up to you if you take it or not. But we haven't been through the whole argument yet. Okay. What time is it? I don't have my phone today.
Yeah, it's about time to switch over to
Okay. Okay. We're going to do that, inshallah, just a little bit, inshallah. دائمتان لا يطرى عليهما أذم المستمر. So the hellfire and the Jannah are forever in terms of continuousness, though there may be a pause in their existence for some time. لقوله تعالى في الحق الفريقين, and as for Allah's statement regarding to the two groups, خالدين فيها أبدا, which we went over, that they, both the people of the hellfire and Jahannam, will be in it forever. Now, his last argument on this issue is going to be وَأَمَّا مَا قِيلَ مِنْ أَنَّهُمَا تَحْلِكَانِ وَلَوْ لَحْظَةً. What does it mean?
As for
Very good.
what is said.
Very good. So you guys know more than you think. وَأَمَّا مَا قِيلَ مِنْ أَنَّهُمَا تَحْلِكَانِ وَلَوْ لَحْظَةً. As for what is said about them, that they will both perish, وَلَوْ لَحْظَةً, even if it may be for a moment, تحقيقا لقوله تعالى كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه. Okay, that everything will perish except Allah's face does not contradict the fact that what? Everything will come to an end for a moment. Okay, I think we can just continue to the next part and then do some Yasin. Okay, now we come to a very big topic that is going to require a whole introduction. I'm going to introduce the topic, but talk about it next week. We're going to do some Yasin after this. And that is that the first firqa, the first sectarian group in the history of Islam was which group did I say? The Khawarij. So we dealt with the Mu'tazilites in regarding to their objections from a rational point of view. When they said, oh, if a dog eats a human being, then how will he come alive? And then the dog is also dead. So it's like double dead. So we discussed that. Now we're dealing with the Khawarij and some of the issues that they had. And that is that they considered even small sins, if somebody committed small sins, to be equal to somebody who left Islam because they committed small sins. And so their arguments and their proofs will be given, and the counter arguments and proofs will be given against the Khawarij. The first sentence, Al-Kabiratu. What is Kabiratu?
The
Big what? Sins. وَالْكَبِيرَةُ لَا تُخْرِجْ عَبْدُ الْمُؤْمِنِ مِنَ الْإِيمَانِ. And doing big sins, even if it's killing someone or running away from the battle, whatever sin it is, وَالْكَبِيرَةُ لَا تُخْرِجُ الْعَبْدُ مُؤْمِنْ مِنَ الْإِيمَانِ وَلَا يُدْخِلُهُ فِي الْكُفْرِ. What does it mean? وَالْكَبِيرَةُ, and the big sins, لَا تُخْرِجُ الْعَبْدُ الْمُؤْمِنْ مِنَ الْإِيمَانِ.
believing slave out of faith.
Out of Iman. Doing a big sin does not take you out of Iman. وَلَا يُدْخِلُهُ فِي الْكُفْرِ. Nor doing a big sin puts you into kufr. وَالْكَبِيرَةُ لَا تُخْرِجُ الْعَبْدُ الْمُؤْمِنِ مِنَ الْإِيمَانِ وَلَا تُدْخِلُهُ فِي الْكُفْرِ. And the Sharih, Imam Taftazani, writes and we'll end at this point. وَلِلْكِتَابِ وَلِلسُنَّةِ وَالْإِجْمَعِ. As for the book of Allah and the sunnah of the Prophet, ijma means consensus of the scholars, meaning the people that are well read and have understood the tradition all their lives. They all agree. وَلَيْسَ عَلَيْهِ شُبْهَةٌ. And there is no doubt on this issue, even though some people raised it. فَضْلًا عَنِ الْحُجَّةِ. It is beyond the issue of hujjah, meaning there's no doubt in this issue that if you do any great sin, it does not take you out of what? Iman and Islam. Okay? And no matter what sin you do, it does not put you in kufr, as long as you have the belief that is required to be mu'min. And we will now discuss that at another time. I will end with this story. There was a great wali of Allah, I forget his name right now. He was a judge, when the Ottoman Empire was falling. He was one of the judges in India, in Hyderabad. And he started having doubts about certain issues in Islam. One of the issues that he had doubts on, or the issue that started to bother him, Shaitan was doing a lot of waswasa on him, and he started to have doubts on the one side, the Quran says there's no shifa. There's what? There's no shifa except by the what? Permission of Allah. And the Quran continuously says there's no shifa except by the permission of Allah. And all the ahadith say the shaheed will do shifa for his family, and the prophets will do shifa for their people, and the one who memorized Quran, he will do shifa for his family, right? All these. And the Quran says no what? Shifa. And the Quran says La waziratun wizra ukhra. No one will carry the burden of the other. So when you read Quran, it's like you're responsible for yourself. You have to face Allah on the day of judgment. And then the hadith literature balances that out. The reason I'm mentioning this, if I can remember properly, so he was told that there's a sheikh like a day's journey away. And I think it was Abu Hassan. Abu Hassan Madani rahmatullah. So he went and he got there at Fajr time. And he said, I have this ishkal, this issue that keeps bothering me. So it relates to this issue. That's why I'm saying this. He said that the gist I'm giving you now, because I'm forgetting the story. I thought I knew it, but now I don't know it that well. But his gist was that Allah's shifa the shifa is for the people that still have iman. Even though they lacked in actions, but they still have what? Iman. And so as long as you have iman, you have that mercy that comes with it. And you have the shifa and so on and so forth. But when Allah is saying, La, you will not carry the burden of the others, or some of these other statements of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is referring to those people who don't have iman. Anyway, so I'll look at that story again if I remember, and then come back to that. For now, let's go back to Surah Yasin. Okay. Okay, we were doing this part last time. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. A means what? Question. Alam? Did I not? Ahad? Ahad? No.
Promise. Make a covenant.
Make a promise. Alam ahad ilaykum, did I not take a promise from you, ya bani Adam, O bani Adam, Allah ta'budu shaitan, that do not what? Worship shaitan. Innahu lakum, he is for you what? Aduwwum mubin, a clear enemy. And we discussed how this verse shows that how do you become a servant of shaitan? Just do everything against Quran, which is where the world is going. An ya'buduni, worship me. هذا صراط مستقيم. That is the صراط مستقيم. That is the straight path. وَلَقَدْ أَضَلَّ, وَلَقَدْ means what? And surely أَضَلَّ, ضالين, to go astray. منكم, جبلا, generations or crowds, كثيرا. He led many astray. أَفَلَمْ تَكُونُوا تَعْقِلُونَ, do you then not know? هذه جهنم. What does it mean? هذه.
This is Jahannam.
Okay, what else can you tell me? Jahannam is male or female? Female. هذه جهنم التي, that كنتم توعدون. This is the hellfire you were promised. Because they used to say on earth, oh, hellfire? Okay, bring it on. Bring your hellfire to us. Allah says, okay, here's the fire that was being promised. إِسْلَوْهَا الْيَوْمَ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْفُرُونَ. Burn in it today for the denial that you used to do. الْيَوْمَ, today, نَخْتِمُ عَلَى أَفْوَاهِهِمْ. Khatam means what?
Finish.
Okay, but it has another meaning. Khatima, khita, khatimun nabiyyin, seal. Al-yawma nakhtimu ala afwahihim. Today we will put a seal on their afwa, their thumb, their mouths. Wa tukallimuna aydihim. And talk to us will be their hands. Wa tashhadu, and bear witness, arjuluhum, their legs. Bima kanu yaksibun, for what they used to earn. The things they did with their hands, and their legs will testify, yes, he was there that day in that meeting planning against Islam. And his hands will talk, yes, he wrote this, or he did this, or he ordered this, or whatever. And don't think that you're doing all this and Allah is unaware. And don't think just because if you lie and your tongue doesn't vanish, that Allah doesn't know you lied. So Allah is saying, وَلَوْ نَشَاءُ, if we what? Willed. لَمَطَسْنَا عَلَىٰ أَعْيُنِهِمْ فَاسْتَبَقُوا الصِّرَاطَ. If we had willed, we would have made them blind. And then they wouldn't be able to walk to the places that they used to walk to make their, influence and everything. وَلَوْ نَشَاءُ لَمَطَسْنَا عَلَىٰ أَعْيُنِهِمْ فَاسْتَبَقُوا الصِّرَاطَ فَأَنَّىٰ يُبْصِرُونَ. If we took away your eyesight, where will you go? How will you do mischief? وَلَوْ نَشَاءُ لَمَسَخْنَاهُمْ عَلَىٰ مَكَانَتِهِمْ. And if we had willed, we would have masakhnahum, we would have removed you, erased you over your place where you are. فَمَا اسْتَطَاعُوا مُضِيًّا وَلَا يَرْجِعُونَ. Then you wouldn't have been able to move or even come back from that state. So this now, ayah number here. Ayah number 60 to ayah number 67. This portion of Surah Yasin is specifically about the plan of Shaitan and those that are with him, and what Allah could do if he wanted, but he's put a day for everything and a time for everything. ألم أهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون. هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون. Now who are being mentioned here? These are people who know truth to be truth and they still deny it. And these are people who know truth to be truth and they still worked against it. هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لمطسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون. And about the whole of life, this sentence or this statement, وَمَن نُعَمِّرْهُ, and whoever we give life, what happens? نُنَكِّسْهُ فِي الْخَلْقِ, he decreases in his creation. Meaning all the functions of the body begin to what? Over time what? Decrease. Old age sets in. Your hair becomes white. Your heart becomes weak. Your everything, your mind begins to forget. وَمَن نُعَمِّرْهُ نُنَقِّصُهُ فِي الْخَلْقِ, and whoever we give life, then he surely will see days where he becomes less and less, more and more deficient. أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, do you have no brains that your body is going to give up on you? You're plotting against Islam, plotting against the Prophet, but don't you see your own your own body is going to work against you. وَمَن نُعَمِّرْهُ نُنَكِّسُ فِي الْخَلْقِ أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Then about this Quran, وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ. Generally, the Quranic view of poetry is negative. Generally. But there are, of course, exceptions we find in the hadith of the Prophet. وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ. We didn't teach Muhammad poetry. This is not poetry. This is reality. Just as you will become deficient, you will also see, you are when you're young, you don't expect to see yourself become old. Until one day when you look at the mirror and you notice, wow, that's my first white hair. And then later on you notice, oh my God, I got so many white hairs, right? And then later on after this, maybe, then there'll be all white hair, who knows? So just as what are you going to do against Allah? It's all fixed. Nothing is going away. It's all going to be exactly the way it's planned. وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ. We didn't teach him poetry. وَمَا يَنبَغِي لَهُ. Nor is it befitting the Prophet ﷺ. You think we taught him poetry? وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ وَمَا يَنبَغِي لَهُ. But what is he worthy for? What was he worthy for? إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ وَقُرْآنٌ مُبِينٌ. It is nothing but a reminder and a self-evident recitation. For what? لِتُنْذِرَ مَنْ كَانَ حَيًّا. لِتُنْذِرَ, what does it mean? To warn. مَنْ كَانَ, whoever is, حَيًّا, whoever is alive. وَيَحِقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. And it becomes a truthful statement against those that deny the truth. So once the Quranic message reaches the ears or the mind or the heart of a person, he becomes stuck. And he's like, Islam makes sense. What should I do about it? Okay, let me ignore. I remember one time when I was very young, we sent an introduction to Islam to all the radio hosts in the whole country. You know how there's all these radio hosts? Like, I don't know if you remember Rush Limbaugh and so on and so forth. So we sent an introduction to Islam with 10 ayahs al-Furqan describing the believer. So one of the radio hosts, he became Muslim. And, he's a white dude, became Muslim, and this is back like, right after 9/11, I think. And he's like, I mean, what does a person go through? He's like, he's reading Quran, he's understanding, and it's making sense. Okay, there's one God, makes sense. And then there's some things that may not make sense, but mostly it makes sense. So what do? Ignore it? So he comes to a point where he was like saying, yes, okay, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. And then he realizes, but wait, this is Islam. What am I doing? Wait, this cannot be right. This is what everybody's been talking against, especially after 9/11. And then, it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to deny the truth in your own heart? You're going to bury it, denial of the truth in your own heart? You can't do that in good consciousness. You will be a changed person if you do that. If you deny the truth, knowing the truth. I remember there was a friend I had. His name was Glenn. He was a leader of one of the Quran. We had an Islam. You know how they have the Islam days, and we were giving out Qurans, and he took the Quran and he started reading it. And I talked to him every so a while, but I came to a point where I started thinking, this person's not going to accept Islam, because he's like reading and he comes to ask me questions. And then he reads and comes to ask me questions. So he like finished the whole Baqarah, Al-Imran. He's reading. And the surah that changed him completely was Surah Yusuf. And after that, he said, yeah, I'm willing to become Muslim. But it's like, what do you do once you know the truth and you're not a Muslim? That's a very terrifying night. A very terrifying day. Where if you decide, okay, let me just deny this because it's not to my benefit. I mean, that speaks to your inside. You denied the truth, knowing that this is like supposed to be the ultimate truth, and you're denying it. Anyway. وَمَنْ نُعَمِّرُ نُنَكِّسُ فِي الْخَلْقِ أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ وَذِكْرُ وَقُرْآنٌ مُبِينٌ لِيُنْذِرَ مَنْ كَانَ حَيًّا. To warn the people that are alive, وَيَحِقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ, and becomes a statement. حِقَّ الْقَوْلُ, haq means truth, qawl means statement. But qawl of Allah, Allah's qawl, meaning the Quran, is also the command of Allah. So it's one of the meanings is a truthful command against those who deny the truth. And then after mentioning this whole part about shaitan and not going the right way, accepting the truth, the Quran, and Allah could take revenge now if he wanted, but he's not going to, then Allah goes back to the previous topic, which is signs of Allah. And this is where Allah ends the whole surah. What time is it?
8:22.
8:22. 8:22. Okay, what I would like to do is, how many of you people have a phone or something like this? Nope, not this one. Where did it go? Here, I think. Okay. Can all of you take this out, starting from here, Surah Yasin? I want everybody to find 10 words they don't know in Surah Yasin. Okay? I want everybody to find 10 words you do not know in Surah Yasin. So I want everybody to partner up. So let's see, you two, and then you two maybe. Okay.
You want us to use this or just?
No, just use the Quran.
Does everyone have a Quran?
Yeah, we have one.
Right.
Oh, yeah, those are words you don't know.
That's crazy.
I mean,
Alright.
yes, there. That's one.
Oh, that's yeah. I think
This is first.
Mukmahun is when you put your head up like as if you're going to drink something, but this is when they're tied. Their neck is shackled. Do you remember this? We talked about this. And their arms are shackled to their necks, like this, and their face is up. Okay, and this is their state of being. So, like, if you want to do it in another way, let's see if I have that.
It's more 10 words. Oh, it's more.
Okay, so we could do this. Okay, let's do this, actually.
Okay.
Let's see how much of this you guys can. Which one is right? Guys, look, pay attention to this.
And I can't see.
it says one Quran, the meaning of I swear by Al Quran, I swear by the recitation and the Quran, or consider the Al Quran.
Which ones are right?
This is Surah Yasin, right?
Yeah.
Al Quran.
Yasin wal Quran al Hakim.
I swear by
Yeah, I swear by Al Quran.
I swear what?
By
Okay, what about anything else?
I swear by the recitation.
It could be and Quran.
Why and?
Because wa also means and.
Oh, really?
I think.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Wow is wow ataf, right?
Yes.
When there is a wow, it means and. But wow is not an and when it's for an oath.
Oh.
Okay. How do you know it's not and it is a qasam?
Content.
No. The i'rab. Wow qasam always causes the noun to take a kasra. Wal fajri, wal asri, wal layli. Right? Wal Qur'ani. I swear by the Quran. Wow. Look. Wow. The letter wow. And when we say and, the purpose of and is to show what? The purpose of to show and is what? Why do you say and?
Similarities between.
No, opposite of that. Wow lil mughayyira. Wow ataf li mughayyira. Wow ataf, the and is to show a difference between this and this, meaning this is not this. Even though you can use and to show the commonality of something, but if I say I went to the store to get butter and milk and salt, it is to show three different what? Things, items, right? Very rarely I'll use the word and to show two similar things. Usually and is used to show what? Mughayyira, to show difference. Okay? But there are many types of was, but the wa we are concerned with is the waw of qasam. And you know it's waw of qasam because the Quran has a kasra. Wal Quran, and by the Quran. And why does Allah take a qasam? One is the words, one is the meanings and the intent of the word. I swear by Quran. Why is Allah swearing by Quran? So that you would consider the book, the Quran, into consideration. Allah takes an oath of something, wal fajri, wal asri, so on and so forth. So you will take that into what? Consideration of what is being said. Wal Qur'ani, so one meaning is, I swear by Quran, al-Quran. Second, I swear by the recitation. Third would be consider the Al-Quran, not and Quran. Let's see if I got it right. Okay, I got it right. Okay, wal Quran al Hakim, which meanings are correct?
Quran Hakim meaning by the Quran, the wise, by the recitation full of wisdom. Consider the Quran / recitation all wise. I swear by the Quran, the forever wise.
Which one's correct?
All wise, the first.
All of them? Okay, let's try that. Let's see if I'm right. Innaka means what?
Indeed you.
Okay.
Indeed you, O Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you like or we like. No.
No,
Indeed
just
you
just
is
read
the
it.
first two.
You sure?
We just
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Lamina. Lam of emphasis, definitely from. Min takes a fatha when connecting, or definitely among.
How are you reading this? He's right there. But like, I'm right here too.
No, I'm ahead of you.
You want me to make it bigger?
That's a good vision, man.
Okay.
Lamina. Oh, we need to hit something.
لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ.
From among the Muslims. Definitely from among the Muslims. Definitely among those sect.
Most precise meaning.
Means
The blue. No. Yeah, the blue.
No, there's more than one right answer, I think. I don't remember anymore.
If it's more than one, isn't it all of them?
among those sent.
Yeah, that works too.
Min from among, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's this. Definitely this. This. Why is the definition okay? Well, okay, I won't go into that right now. Let's try this. Let's see if I'm right. Okay, from among the messengers. No, they're wrong. I mean, I was wrong on that one. You guys are right. Ala means what?
On.
Or on top
It's
of.
not below.
Top of.
I think.
Over. Yeah.
Oh. Most harf-jar can also take, most of them, can also take the meaning of on. Ala sirat al-mustaqim. Ala sirat al-mustaqim, right? Ala, over the straight path or on the straight path. Another harf-jar example, which we'll see, fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah, or fi sabilillah, on the path of Allah. Most harf-jar at some point can mean something like on. So let's see if this is right. Partially correct. No, they're definitely wrong. Okay. Sirat mustaqim.
That's straight. Yep. That's mudaf ilayh, right?
Okay. It's mudaf ilay. Really?
I'm
What is
I didn't say for sure.
No, okay, wait. But this is a very basic question. If this was mudaf ilay, how would we know it's mudaf ilay?
That's wrong for kasratain.
First of all, mustaqim would have what?
Alif Lam.
Alif lam. Thank you. Number 2, sirat would have what?
Damma.
Damma. Even though there would be no alif lam, if there was no alif lam, it should say siratun or sirati. If it's kasra for some reason, it would be. But it doesn't take. It doesn't take what?
It doesn't take tanween.
It doesn't take tanween when there's mudaf ilay. The second noun takes an alif lam with a kasra on the bottom, like ashabul fili, people of the elephant. Ashabun nari, people of the
fire.
Ashabul jannati,
People of Jannah.
Jannah. Rasulullahi, Ar-Rasul, Rasulullahi, there's no alif lam. Rasulullahi, Rasul of Allah. Kitabullahi, the book of Allah. Okay. Ashabul ukhdudi, same, you keep on going. All of these. Okay.
Yeah.
If this was mudaf ilay, then it would show you the signs of mudaf and mudaf ilay. But this is not mudaf ilay. This is what? I even have it there.
Mawsuf sifat.
And by the way, the logic of the Arabic language is such: you mention the noun first and then the description. In English, you say cold what? Water. You mention what you're talking about after you mention its description. Logically, it's better to say the object you're going to describe first and then its quality. So instead of cold water, you should say water cold. Meaning, in proper, if you're thinking logically, you would think, okay, water. What about the water? It's cold, right? Mountain batted. Water is that water that is cold. Sirat, path. Mustaqim is its quality, right? What is the best example, I think, in the Quran of Sifa Mawsuf? The most often repeated sentence in the Quran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, who is Rahman Rahim. Okay. Straight path, a path of istiqamah. This sentence is Sifa Mawsuf. This sentence is Nakira. Is it Nakira? How do you know it's Nakira?
You got that one.
What's nakira again?
Okay, what's the opposite of Nakira?
Nakira is feminine.
Ma'rifa and no. Ma'rifa and Nakira. Ma'rifa is
common and
like
proper.
the pen versus a pen. The apple versus a apple. How do you know something is Nakira? It has tanween. And if there is alif lam, there's no tanween generally. If there's alif lam, there's no tanween. If there's tanween, then there's no alif lam. If there's alif lam, it is ma'rifa. If there's tanween, it is nakira.
Nakira.
A straight path. إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم. So, technical meaning would be you are amongst the messengers على on sirat, path, mustaqim, that is what? Straight. But why not the path? In Fatiha we say اهدنا الصراط المستقيم المستقيم الصراط المستقيم. Over here there's no al. Let me show you what I mean so you can see it clearly.
So it means a path. Just like Baytan is a house, El Bayt is the house.
Yeah, but I'm saying why in Surah Yasin, the path, let me just share a contrast for you so you can have some appreciation for this. Look. Ala what? Siratim Mustaqim, right? And here is Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Why? Oh Allah, guide us to the straight path versus min al-mursalin. You're definitely amongst the messengers ala sirat al-mustaqim, upon the straight path. Why is there no alif lam? How does it change the meaning? How does it change the significance?
It makes it more general.
That is true. But what does that have? What impact does that have?
Are there other straight paths? Because alif lam means it's the definite article. It means the one and only straight path. Am I right?
Okay, you're amongst the messengers on the straight path.
Is it because the other messengers had other paths that were also straight?
Okay, that's a good answer, but not the only answer. When you include other messengers and other sharias and other things, then alif lam would be maybe less reasonable, arguably. Right? But if you're talking about all of history and all the messengers, then innaka ala sirat, you're on all of these paths of all of the different messengers. You're above and beyond all of those paths. You're on top of those paths. That's one meaning, but there's another more important in the context of the surah. When you pray to Allah, say, Ihdina sirat, Allah guide me to the straight path. Is the path known to you that you're asking for?
No.
You don't know sirat alladhina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladhdallin? Yeah, it's known, right?
Yes.
Over there, as-sirat al-mustaqim is alif lam because it also describes the path clearly. That who is that path is the path of those whom Allah favored. Quraysh, they know the Prophet's on the path. They know he's following revelation, but they don't know the details. They just know he's on a path. They don't know which path. Okay, they don't necessarily know the details. So it's left open. Innaka ala siratim mustaqim. Okay, let's go back to our cahoots. Okay, now siratim mustaqim. Which ones are correct?
Red, blue, green.
Except for and yellow.
Tanzil means what?
We sent down. Sent down.
Standing down?
Sent down.
Continuous. Wait, what is it? Continuous.
Nazzala. When nazala is continuous, it becomes tanzil.
Revelation.
Rahima, mercy. Rahim, continuous mercy. Jamil, continuous beauty. Qadir, continuous capability. Alim, continuous knowledge. When it's continuous, you put it on the ismut tafdil or fa'il. Fa'il. Most of the names of Allah are in this weight, this pattern. Qadir, Fa'il, Jamil, Rahim, Halim. Because it has the meaning embedded in it of continuous when the word is in this shape. So nazzala is the root word from nazzala, tanzil. So there's inna anzalnahu fi layl. Anzalna, anzal is one time coming down from the seventh sky to the first sky. This is anzal. We sent it down in one night. And then from anzal, there's tanzil, slowly coming down to the earth, to the heart of the Prophet. Okay, so there's anzal and there's tanzil. Anzal is from the seventh heaven to the first heaven. And then for 23 years, from the from the lowest heaven to the heart of the Prophet. Okay, for 23 years. Okay, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes.
What about Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim? Is that
Okay? So Ar-Rahman versus Ar-Rahim. This is why the word Rahman is used twice to give two different aspects of the same idea. So Rahim we discussed, right? Rahman is Rahman because it means, so Rahim means continuous. So it has a time element of forever and ever and ever, right? Rahim. Rahman is the intensity. Ghadab means what? Angry. Ghadban, very angry. Rahman, very intensely merciful. Okay. Ghadban. Atash, thirsty. Atshan, extremely thirsty. Can't be more thirsty. Rahman, you can't be more merciful. Ar-Rahmanu 'allama al-Quran. Ar-Rahman, the most intensely merciful, taught Quran. Okay. Tanzil has the meaning of continuous. Nazzala, it's ismul tafdil, sent down time after time. All of those are correct. Al-Aziz, Ar-Rahim. Again, of course, ismul tafdil, fa'il, forever and ever. That meaning is there. But Al-Aziz means what? Ar-Rahim means what?
Blue and yellow.
The one with authority, Al-Aziz, yes. And the merciful, yes. The mighty and the merciful, yes. Okay, what else? Praiseworthy?
No, I'm not saying anything else. I'm just saying it's wrong.
Al-Hamid is the one who is always praiseworthy. Then what about close one? Aziz.
That,
No,
Do you say in Urdu, you say, "Ye mere Aziz hai"?
that's what I was
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say "Mere Aziz hai." What does it mean?
Well, I just thought it was a misuse of an Arabic word.
No. It's the other meaning.
Azizi means like
Al-Aziz.
Language.
Al-Aziz means the one with power and authority, number one. Number two, Aziz means the one who's close to you. So both meanings are there.
Oh yeah, it's easy.
Litunzira,
To
warn.
Li means to.
litunzira, to warn, okay. Li means to.
Yeah.
To put on guard as
Yeah.
well.
But not vowel. I think.
How much time do we have left?
About like 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay. I want to finish on this note. I want you all to memorize this. Okay, yeah. Here are different ways of saying the same thing in Arabic language. Waha, say it after me. Waha.
Wow.
It means how come. Waha man la yakhafu adhab al-akhirah. Waha, how strange. Man, who? La yakhafu, doesn't fear. Adhab al-akhirah. And you can also say, ta'jabu, do you find strange? Man la yakhafu adhab al-akhirah. Whoever does not fear the punishment of the hereafter. So these two meanings. Waha من لا يخاف عذاب الآخرة أتعجب من لا يخاف عذاب الآخرة. This is the first. Then second, على من لا يخاف عذاب الآخرة. على, again, how strange. من لا يخاف عذاب الآخرة. Then أتصف, do you feel sad or strange by the one من لا يخاف عذاب الآخرة? So وها من لا يخاف عذاب الآخرة أتعجب من لا يخاف عذاب الآخرة على من لا يخاف عذاب الآخرة أتصف من لا يخاف عذاب الآخرة. All have the same meaning. And then waha, yeah. So I want you to memorize this. You can say couplet. These two words with man la yakhafu adhab al-akhirah. How strange for the one who does not fear the punishment of the hereafter. Ala man la yakhafu adhab al-akhirah. Atasifu man la yakhafu adhab al-akhirah. Okay, I will let you guys go.
I have a question if I could ask, please. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yes, of course.
What's the difference between...
But you guys
sorry.
Go ahead, sorry.
The difference between qiyas and kalam? It's an Aqeedah question.
Difference between what?
Qiyas and kalam.
Qiyas?
Yeah, qiyas and kalam. I mean, I thought they were maybe synonyms of each other. Wallahu a'lam.
Qiyas is a legal term in Islam that when you make an analogy of one ruling with another ruling. So for example, alcohol is haram, but then I'll make qiyas of alcohol and drugs because they both have the same illa, which is the effect. So they both have the same effect. So the hukam, the ruling, will be the same for alcohol and drugs. So alcohol is the original, and then you make qiyas with alcohol to drugs. Okay, that's qiyas. Kalam means words. So kalam is a subject of many words because there's a lot of debate in the issues of Aqeedah. And because there's a lot of debate and uncertainty, it's called kalam. This is one meaning.
Jazakallah khairan.
Yeah, Jazakallah khairan. Okay, may Allah forgive us and guide us. I mean, give us tawfiq. Okay, inshallah.
Sheikh, may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Last summer, some of my cousins were visiting from England, and apparently you had said they were here at Jami, and you had said that you had given like a couple of recommendations for Sirah books. I don't know if you would remember because one of them asked me recently.
About which one?
I don't know what the book was because you gave the recommendation. So I don't think you'd remember.
There are many good ones.
Yeah.
But let me think about it and I'll let you know.
Okay, inshallah.
Can I send you